The current reality you're in is equal to the way you think, act, and feel. And if you want to create and shift yourself to the reality you prefer to be in, all you got to do is recognize how this version of you feels, capture those emotions, and realize that you can generate them from within, and know that when you do it in a certain sequence, you will then start to see your reality change before your eyes. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, and I really believe that this video will change your life. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you how you can go from feeling in the current reality you are, which may be full of resistance, which may also have on the other end of it, you feeling resistance, also making maybe working a job you don't care about, maybe being around people that are draining your energy, understanding that reality is a complete reflection on the outside of the inside. And now maybe you've heard some of the teachings of Neville Goddard, talks about the feeling is the secret. You change your feeling, you change your reality. And what we can learn to do is to change around on the inside the way that we relate to what we feel by understanding a simple process I'm going to show you. And then you generate that vibration and it changes everything. So first off, let me say that the reality that I live in right now has been what I call bridged from the reality I used to live because of what I share in this video. It's understanding that we can rewire ourselves and decide to feel certain emotions. Really, it's about just giving ourselves permission to feel it. When I started making the videos, I know you've all heard it before, me talk about the video, my process of going into YouTube full time and living my dream life, but I just decided. That's the main purpose. I just decided this is who I am now. And then as I followed my passion, as I decided to do that, my reality on the outside then began to change. But the thing is I had to remain consistent to it, because that's the true sign that shows that this is really who you are. Remember, we always get a reflection of who we are. Now, here's the way it works, and this is something that I want to also go deeper with in this video, is knowing that our feelings come from our beliefs, what we believe to be true. And now beliefs are this idea. It's like, what are a belief? Is it this like etherical abstract thing? Well, I'm going to share with you that it's actually very easy to understand what this is. And it's actually some stuff that I learned from a Tony Robbins conference that I went to a couple months ago with my buddy Victor. And while I was there, we learned some of this process of how to rewire our rules, I guess you could say. So what we have is this is the cycle that controls our life. Now, we all have a certain way we see the world, certain perceptions, certain beliefs. Now, what happens is that we have these beliefs, and from beliefs then come feelings. Sometimes people say, oh, I just feel this way. Well, the reason we feel a certain way is because we first believe something to be true that then generates an emotion, a feeling. For example, we could say, oh, I'm in a relationship. I feel love, yay. However, even though we have this human connection, we have compassion for each other, we're all one, we're all connected, we believe that being in a relationship, many times for many people, being in a relationship equates to being worthy, feeling like we're enough, having someone to share that love with. It's a belief, and from that belief comes the feeling. Now, if that person breaks up with you, you may have a belief that says, this is bad, this means I'm no longer loved, and then that negative belief then causes negative feelings, negative emotions. So this is about realizing that feelings come from the beliefs. If it's like we have, maybe somebody has like a lack of money, they believe that having a lack of money is a bad thing, or they believe that money equals their freedom, which for many people it may, and then they feel negative emotion because they don't have it, and they say, I want it. So feelings do not exist in a vacuum. Feelings come and are generated by our beliefs. Everything is fundamentally neutral. Like a rainy day. Yesterday it was really windy and it was really cold. And I could have said, this is a negative day. I wish I could walk on the grass and be more relaxed. This is bad. Well, if I believe that this is bad, then guess what? I'm going to feel that negative emotion when I look outside and see the trees like windy and stuff. So first off, know that that's where this comes from. So this video is going to help you rewire yourself to make it very easy for you to feel the emotions that you want, the feelings you want to feel. Now understand that once you have those feelings, then the thoughts come that are equal to your feelings. So a lot of Tony Robbins teaches, by the way, is change your state. Just jump up and down a lot. Change your state. Yay. And then when you change your state, guess what? You're thinking you're thinking of different thoughts. Sometimes people think, oh, this is reversed. But what you'll find is when you change your state, you change your thoughts. So it's the thoughts are equal to the feelings you have. And then from there, you then have the actions you take. The actions you consistently take that come from the thoughts. And then your reality, you get certain results. And then that circles this belief. So it's a cycle. So sometimes we may feel negative emotion. We may have a certain belief that causes negative emotion, which causes negative thoughts, which then means we don't take action, or we take action, but it's in a resistant way, which means we get poor results, which then fuels the belief that maybe says I'm not enough, or I don't get to live the life that I want. So this is about understanding that this is the process, and what we're going to learn right now is how to change our beliefs. And then I'm going to share with you also 3 ways of applying this process so that you can feel it into existence. You can allow yourself to feel it into existence. So to do this, let's go ahead and switch the camera angle. All right, now the first thing you want to do is you want to become aware and be able to identify the feelings of the reality you want to experience. So for example, let's say this is the old reality that feels resistance, where you're thinking, feeling, and acting equal to the old you, the way that you view yourself, maybe even now that you're becoming aware of. You can acknowledge that, and then you can acknowledge the version of you that you prefer to be. The one where you're living the kind of abundance you'd want to live in, you feel the kind of love that you'd want to have in your life, and you see that version of you. Now, in your mind, when you're imagining this version of you, what emotions would you consistently feel? What emotion would you have to feel for this? Now, understand that money is a side effect of you doing what you love. Money is a side effect. Money isn't an actual emotion. What is the feeling that money brings you? For me, money brings me the feeling of freedom. I feel freedom when I am abundant, because then I could do what I want. I can live in a cool place. I can travel the world and eat at really nice restaurants. I'll have food. So that's what I look at that version of me. And I'm like, oh, look, Aaron gets to eat what he wants. Aaron gets to travel the world, do this stuff. Aaron's feeling freedom. Aaron's feeling freedom. So when I was, back in the day when I was working that 9-to-5 job, do you think I was feeling that much freedom? I was going to a job every day, and I was telling myself a story that said, I have to be at this job. I don't want to be here. I could be doing something else. This isn't my passion. So I was going in every day, negating the reality that I really wanted to experience, negating that emotion. Well, here's what I ended up doing. I ended up becoming aware and appreciative for the times I did feel and could feel freedom. So instead of when I was going to work, I then realized that even though I'm going to work right now, I'm choosing to go to work right now. Selling women's shoes, not passionate about it, but I'm choosing it. That allowed the resistance to go away to where then I wasn't feeling a lack of freedom. You see, so the money, the abundance, the freedom to do what I want when I want to do, making videos and stuff and not having to go to a 9-to-5 job, was that of identifying that I am feeling resistance around freedom more often than not because of the way I'm thinking about it. I'm going to work saying, I don't want to be here. This isn't free. I'm not free. And that feeling, how could I possibly go from here to here if I'm always resisting? If I'm always feeling like I don't currently have it? So, you see, that's the key to this. It's recognizing the emotion, the dominant emotion that you would like to bring into your life. Because remember, feel it into existence. If you feel it into existence, you bring more opportunity. You bring more things into your life that reflect that back to you. Now let me show you something I learned from the Tony Robbins event that is very powerful. It's like insider information, okay? I paid $6,000 to go, but you're gonna get value just from this video. So let me show you. So first off, let's say that freedom, I'm gonna use this analogy, freedom. Now let's say that we all have rules as to what it means and what it takes for us to feel certain things. So for example, if it's like love, I value love. I want to feel love. But what if we have rules about love? Most everyone has these subconscious rules. Now, for example, how would I know that I feel love? What if the rules for me to feel love, my internal rules, were I will feel love when somebody buys me a gift. I will feel love when somebody constantly is telling me they love me. I will feel love when people act according to the way I expect them to act. Well, guess what? It's going to be very hard for me to feel love because I've set the bar so high. And because the bar is so high, it's almost impossible for me to actually feel love. And all those rules for feeling love were things outside of myself. Like having other people act the way I want, that's not something I have control over. Yes, I do. I'm just kidding. the feeling love when somebody texts me all the time, I don't have control over that. Yes, I do. I tell people, text me, you love me, or else. Or what is the other, that's when I'll know. I'll know when all these things are checkmarked off the list, then I can feel love. Well, it's going to be very hard to feel love, but what if you made it very easy to feel love? What if you said, you know what? Anytime I focus on my beautiful family and friends that are in my life, then I feel love. Anytime I put the attention in my heart, then I feel love. Anytime I just feel gratitude for this moment, then I feel love. Guess what? You're going to feel love way more often. But we have these subconscious rules that we're not aware of that are on autopilot. Now let me show you this example, like with freedom. Write down, what is the emotion you want to feel? Freedom. What are your current rules for you to feel freedom? My current rules are, I must have $1 million in the bank. Then I'll know I have made it to become free when I have $1 million in my bank account. Well, guess what? That bar is set really high, and it's an external thing to my internal state. That's the second thing. I will know that I'm free when I can live for months at a time in a different country and only come back to the States once or twice a year. Oh, well, now it's very detailed and specific. So it's like, this has to happen, this has to happen. Third thing, I will know I'm free anytime or when I am skydiving. You see what I mean? It's like, well, there's like really specific rules. Where did you get those rules, bro? And you want to know where you got those rules? Shark Tank. Just kidding. You got those rules because you were watching something and you decided, oh, this is the way it is. Maybe your parents gave you that. Maybe social conditioning. Maybe you watched a movie that you watched the movie Wolf of Wall Street and you're like, hey, if I have a lot of money and I start some penny stocks, then maybe I could eventually become a multimillionaire and then start a firm and yell at people and then get them to sell stuff. And then we have crazy parties. You see what I mean? Then it's like this, there's all these rules. But imagine you became aware of these rules and you identify, you say, I want to feel more. You want relationship? Say, I want to feel love. What are my rules for love? And there are these, I have to be in a relationship. I have to have everyone text me back all of the time. I need people to tell me they love me a lot. Then I will know I am love. Well, guess what? Those are things external, so it's going to be very hard for you to control all that. And also, you're not going to feel that love very often. But imagine this. Anytime I focus on my heart. Here's the freedom example. Anytime I realize I can do what I want. There we go. I can feel that freedom. Like, you know, I remember even when I was going to that job, I was like, you know what? I'm at this job right now, but guess what? I'm on lunch break. I can go where I want to go. I'm going to go Chipotle. Go to Chipotle. Freedom. And then I'd feel more freedom. And then I'd be like, okay, secondly, anytime I'm doing my passion, here's the key too. When you start anything, you can give yourself permission to feel it. When you start it, you are it. Remember that. When you start it, you are it. And when you are it, guess what? You eventually experience the reality on the outside begins to change on the inside. So for example, I could say, well, when I started making daily videos on YouTube, the moment I started was the moment I started to feel that freedom. I get to do what I want. I'm passionate about this. That started that reality from that moment. I didn't say once I'm doing this for 6 months, then I'll feel freedom. Once you start is when you start to feel free. Once you start is when you start to change and feel empowered. It takes starting. That's the key. Anything you want to feel into existence, start now. Start now. Start now. That's the message of this video. Start now. I promise you, every single one of you can start now on what you want to create in your life. Feel it into existence. Start, because when you start, the feeling then comes as a result. And you can feel it before by thinking, by meditation. However, start now. The thing that held me back for years is I didn't start. I told myself a story. Oh, I need to be perfect for me to be on YouTube. I need to have the best camera equipment. I need this like crazy setup over here. Once I have this crazy setup, then I can finally do it. But then I realized, wait, I'm making it extreme. I have a rule that all these things have to happen. I let go of that rule and it made it so much easier. So the key to this is becoming aware of this version of you. And just to, first off, believing you can do it. Believing you can do it, because when you believe it, then it's easier to actually step forward in that process. That's what happened with me in YouTube videos. I simply decided, there was a guy named Ralph Smart, there was like 1 or 2 other YouTubers that have been in it way longer than I have, and I saw them doing their thing, creating videos, and I simply decided to myself, They're doing it. I have my own unique perspective. Some of the videos I saw them making, I was like, oh, that's cool, but I would talk about it in a different way because I have a different perspective. So I saw they could do it. And I'm like, if they could do it, why can't I do it? And then I believed I could. So the first step to this is finding others that also are doing it. And then to just choose that also includes you. And then act and focus on that vision. I'm here right now to tell you to focus on that vision and to just go for it. Believe you can do it. Find other people that have maybe done it as well, because then it increases the belief that it is possible for you. And when you do that, guess what? Then your reality begins to change in a very powerful way. Now, very quickly, I want to share 3 things you can do to feel it into existence. Some of them you've probably heard me talk about before, but they're really powerful and they're very simple, and maybe it's time for a refresher. Okay, the first one, the first 30 minutes of your day or the last 30 minutes of your day, as you're going to bed, feel the emotions of what you want to experience through visualization. Your mind doesn't know the difference between what it thinks, what it imagines. When you're falling asleep, you're going from a beta to an alpha to a theta state. Theta state is subconscious mind. That's where you can reprogram yourself. The last 30 minutes of the day is when you're going into that theta state, so it's very powerful for reprogramming your self-image. I also recommend seeing yourself as that kind of person. I saw myself as a YouTuber. Now I see myself as somebody that does live events. I see myself, I feel what that would be like, and I'm wiring that into my reality now. You do that the first 30 minutes of your day as you wake up, and then the last 30 minutes of your day. Or just within that period. I don't mean you have to do it for 30 minutes, but do it for just 10, 15 minutes. I would say it's one of the single most powerful manifestation processes I found, is that process right there. So that's one thing I recommend you do. It is very powerful. Now, also, and if you don't, by the way, I have a meditation, Feeling is the Secret. Listen to that at night before you go to bed. That will wire that in for you. It's a popular meditation, the Feeling is the Secret meditation, for listening to it as you go to bed at night. I'll go ahead and link it below. And the second part is what I call a frame of reality. Imagine there was one snapshot of the reality you want to experience. And imagine that this snapshot, and it represents you being in that reality. One thing that you would know that this is the reality you prefer to be in. For example, me doing events. I would get one snapshot of me being in front of the crowd, explaining things, and see people nod their head, excited to be there, jumping up and down, whatever. I would have one frame of reality, and what I would do is I would feel it every day with gratitude. Gratitude unifies you with the reality you want to experience. So I'd feel grateful for it now. I would go and I would literally think about it many times a day. I'd give myself little triggers. Maybe like when I go through, every day I get home and my garage opens, I then think of it. Or I get up in the morning and I go to brush my teeth. I have like a vision of it, or like I write it out what that would be, and I think of that as I'm brushing my teeth for a couple minutes. Have little triggers throughout your day that allows you to think about it a couple times, to stay focused on it. The more then you focus on that, you let go of the outcome, but you have that frame then causes a feeling, because if it doesn't cause a feeling, it means that might not be what you're really passionate about. So the key is to be aware of that and then apply that. And then the third step, the third part to this that you can use is called bridge it. Bridge it, the gap between where you are to where you want to be. Bridge it by doing things that version of you would do. If we look at the stick figure, the version of you over here that feels this way, how does that version of you think, feel, and act? Now bridge it by deciding to think, act, and feel that way, and you could do that by taking action in some way, and realize that as you take action, the feeling comes along with it. As you step into the unknown, make a goal for you to step into the unknown. When you step into the unknown, reality becomes very magical. Because in the unknown is where new things can happen. In the known, you get more of what you've always got. Step into the unknown and watch how your life begins to change in a very powerful way. Anytime I step into the unknown, I know something magical is about to happen. Those are the 3 ways you could feel it into existence. Listen to this meditation right here for 21 days as you're going to bed at night. Watch how your life begins to change. Read the comments there so that you can also see what is possible. It'll increase your belief as well. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace, much love, and namaste.